today to call on Rachel Reeves to introduce a series of wealth taxes in the upcoming autumn budget. We know that actually the situation is pretty dire, particularly for young people at the moment. They're coming out of university with tens of thousands of pounds worth of debt. There's unaffordable housing everywhere. People are working 2 or 3 jobs just to pay rent. The cost of basic items like food is rising and rising. And we need to see change. And she has a real opportunity in this budget to show that she's on the side of people, not on the side of millionaires and billionaires. And that's why we're here today. We think that there is a moral problem with inequality in this country, and we need to release more money. We're sick of being told there's no money when you look at the amount of hoarding of wealth that's going on at the very top of society. We think there is money to pay for public services, the NHS, our schools, our hospitals, but also climate action and tackling the climate crisis. So as a climate movement, we think that the issue of wealth taxes is really, really important.
I'm one of the parliamentary champions for Green New Deal Rising, who organised today's rally, and they are gaining so much momentum.
Working class people in this country are being screwed over beyond measure. Every week I see services that have been devastated by the Conservatives, infrastructure that is falling apart, and people in my community who are resourceful, resilient and hardworking and yet are still struggling to get by. We have a housing crisis, a social safety net that is full of holes, and our planet is being destroyed by corporate polluters. Now, my party was elected last year on the back of a promise of change. We might have won power, but we have forgotten our purpose. Instead of acting on the basis of principles that are at the heart of the Labour Party, the government keeps announcing unpopular, harmful policies that weren't even in our manifesto. And now, with a rising far right, further dystopia is looming. Time is short. We have just over 3.5 years to stop a reform victory, but the government is sticking its head in the sand. We need to start doing politics differently. To fight fascism, we need a monumental living standards boost. We need to reverse cuts, and we need to refuse to tolerate attacks on our communities by those who wish to other, malign, demonise and scapegoat marginalised groups.
Oh my goodness, how inspiring to hear all of your testimony as I've been listening to you today. Between you, understand every single problem in this country, and you're here to tell the Chancellor of the Exchequer what the answer is. She has choices in the next budget. She can deal with the obscenity that 1 in 3 children in this country are growing up in poverty, while 50 families have more wealth than the rest of us combined. There is a solution to this kind of inequality, which is a stain on our country and an even bigger stain on a Labour government.
They don't understand the scale of the problem. They can't just tinker around the edges and, do small things like, things like the VAT rise on private schools is an indication that they understand that those with the broadest shoulders should bear take the responsibility and make more of a contribution to society through increased taxation. But that's a small measure compared to something like equalising capital gains with income tax or introducing a 2% wealth tax. Looking at the way in which our economy is structured and our tax is structured, you need to actually get to the root of it and change who is contributing more. And so I think there's not an understanding of the scale of the problem, but I also think that they are, like lots of governments before them, subject to lots of pressure from people who don't want things to change.
When migrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
My constituents know all too well what difficult choices are. The choice between paying your rent or paying your bills. The choice between turning on the heating or having enough money for the food shop. The choice of going hungry yourself in order to feed your children. These are difficult choices. I'll tell you what aren't difficult choices. Taxing the millionaires, the billionaires, the huge corporations, those who have profited from the exploitation of people and our planet.
The establishment, the big parties, all of them are telling us to look somewhere else than the obscenely super rich. They're telling us to look at migrants, to blame them for our problems. We know that they are not a problem. We know that migration benefits our country. We know that housing is a human right for all. We know that asylum is a human right for all. We know that inequality is against every human right. Look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and every time I look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I well up, because it's a beautiful document, an absolutely gorgeous document. Every single human right in that document is currently under attack. And there's
sometimes even longer. And while services are being cut,
tell the government what all of us know, that a better future is possible, that justice in terms of taxes, justice in terms of investment will pay dividends for the country and for her own image if she would only listen. Thank you so much for coming today. I cannot get over the energy in our movement at the moment, and it's amazing to see you. Thank you so much.